Okay, it's 5 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. I want to welcome everyone. Thank you for being here, especially thank you for the council members. On the screen are the ground rules for the meeting, and I'm just going to add some additional comments and clarification of what this meeting will be and what it will not be. As you see, there are no directors or staff here except Sharon Lamar, our city clerk, to take notes, and J.D. McCauley, who is our HR director, who will handle signing in and directing movements on the floor. The directors of the city are not here because this is an unofficial council meeting. It's an informal listening opportunity for council to hear matters of interest from citizens or concerns on non-agenda items. So don't ask about anything that will be on the agenda for the actual council meeting at 6 p.m. We won't be voting or solving anything tonight. No action will be taken during this time. We're here to listen and ask questions and make sure we understand what citizens are asking. We've had 3 people either call or email us with their names and topic they want us to talk about. They will be allowed to go first in the order that they came into the office. In between then, I will ask if anyone who is here that wants to talk to council can come forward, and JD will have you put your name down. If and only if we get through the names and there's time remaining, you will be allowed to address council. So your name might be added to the list, but still might not be able to have time to talk. If that happens, you can still reach out to me by phone or email afterwards, so don't worry, we still want to hear from everybody. Since we have our council meeting at 6 p.m. tonight, I will end this public power hour at 5:45 to ensure the rest of the staff can get in place and we can get ready for our council meeting at 6. As I said last month, and I will continue to say it over the next few months, and I will be able to clarify a little of this will still be a work in progress as we work out the kinks and get this to run smoother. So please be patient with us and know this public power hour is a sincere attempt for us to improve communications. Also, I'm asking you to keep it to at least 5 minutes each, but I will be flexible if at all possible, but I will not let this get out of hand or become a ranting opportunity for anyone. With that being said, I would like to ask Mr. Ross Douglas if you would come up, sir. And although we have your name and I've said it, if you don't mind, just state your name and address in the microphone. That way the folks watching on TV can hear you.
Sure.
Not on TV, but live stream.
Okay. My name is Ross Douglas. I'm sorry, what other information?
Lift that up a little high. You're tall.
Okay.
That's good. Just your address, please.
Okay, it's 101 Cascade Drive. First of all, I'll say this is a great opportunity for the citizens of North Augusta. I think this is the perfect forum. I think this is really kind of what I was looking for. As far as just an opportunity, not asking for any action, but it's just for a citizen just provide information to the city, and that's kind of what I wanted to do. I was hoping to have more of a one-on-one meeting. I thought that may have been a better scenario, but I was told there were some legal circumstances that prevented that, so this will work for me. So I'm going to read from this. I hope you don't mind. It's probably been revised about 50 times today. But good evening. Again, my name is Ross Douglas. This evening I'd like to discuss my concerns about the development that is going on in North Augusta and the Knollwood project. I feel as though the leadership of the city should know why we are concerned about this project, other than thinking many of us just don't want it. From the beginning, the attitude has been directed toward us has been disrespectful and at times information provided incorrect. When we are told that the people of Knollwood don't know what's good for them, or Knollwood needs an economic boost, how would you feel if this was your neighborhood? We take great pride in our neighborhood and feel it is a jewel in the city. So these type of comments are uncalled for and really put a sour taste in the residents' mouth. We've been told things happen in a certain way, and then we end up with a bulldozer knocking down trees as fast as it can with no supervision from the developer and no permits from the city. What kind of supervision can we count on in the future? If you haven't been by, please drive by to the end of Green Forest and by and take a look for yourself. It's an eyesore, but unfortunately a sign of what things will look like. The whole area except for the wetland will be clear cut and the land left barren like that behind Flowing Wells or off Austin Graybill. How is this a compliment to Knollwood and the surrounding area? Even once the houses are built, they will take several years to build 190 homes. It will stand out like a sore thumb because there will be saplings planted in the place of trees and these will take many years for them to replace what was there. We moved to Knollwood because it's a quiet, peaceful neighborhood with mature trees, a great reputation, and low traffic. Now this area will have no trees. We'll have all the noise from the neighborhood behind us, and 4th of July was a surprising to us just with the amount of trees that were cut down already, and way more traffic. In the BZA meeting, we were told the variance was approved pending the outcome of a traffic study which the BZA had to review. Neighbors are now being told that was incorrect. The city did the traffic study, the box was checked, and the BZA doesn't have to review, and we're moving on. There are many concerns about the traffic study. The study makes no reference, from what I can tell, about the increasing traffic and addressing safety of the residents of Knollwood. Will residents who live be able to still walk safely to the Greenway? Can we let our kids ride bikes to and from houses of their friends? These are legit concerns. We have kids that walk to and from school each day. Will they be safe? Was a risk survey done to look at these issues? What about the Greenway crossing that goes through our neighborhood? There are many close calls as it is every day. How will adding more traffic not affect this area? This Greenway is a jewel in our community and should be protected. These are the issues we have and the reasons we feel as though we do. Now, I haven't seen any of the new plans since the last copy I received from Ms. Hodges left, so honestly, I have no idea what the new plans will look like that Ivy has. But felt you should know why most of us feel like we do. On the other side of the coin is that we aren't alone in these concerns, as other neighborhoods are dealing with the same issues and feel the same way, unfortunately. We just want to know the city leadership is looking out for us, the citizens, not just the growth of the city, i.e., we want things done as they're supposed to be done by the book. When neighborhoods are developed, why is a developer allowed to wipe the canvas clean? Many municipalities throughout the state of South Carolina and Georgia make the developer leave a certain percentage of trees. We have been told the only thing that will be left is a little buffer, which I hope isn't just existing trees taken down and shrubs planted in their place, and the wetland. What would the harm be in making developers leave some trees? Many of the trees behind us are 50 plus years old. In other words, this won't go back to looking natural anytime soon, at least most likely not in my lifetime. Another concern is speed control devices not being allowed, like speed tables. The developer has stated he would gladly put them in, but the city doesn't allow such. Many neighborhoods in Columbia County use them, including Westlake. They work. I'll admit, I don't want them, and I don't think anyone in our neighborhood does, but how else can we help to protect our residents? We can't have North Augusta Public Safety there 24/7. Relationship building is important. Now, many people don't care about this, but I think it's important to have developers work with the existing residents, or at least make an attempt. Yes, not everyone will be happy, but this just shows goodwill. The developers need to understand the impact they have on the area. They often think their plans are the greatest thing since sliced bread, but have no idea how the long-term impact will affect the existing residents. The traffic at Paul Knox, Mossy Creek is already a mess. How will adding 190 plus residents going to help? Maybe they could adjust their numbers back so the impact is not so big. These are just thoughts. I know developers, they will put anything anywhere. That's what they do. And I don't blame them for that. But why not show some compassion to those who will be left behind with whatever is left? I hope whatever is built is as nice as they say. I sincerely do. I surely don't want something that is going to be a drag on our neighborhood to take place. North Augusta is growing at a rapid rate. I'm sure you guys feel like there's a five-alarm fire every day, and there's always something that needs to be done. One of the things mentioned in the traffic study was the lack of a left turning lane off 5 Notch. It seems like the left turn lane at the light at the intersection of Georgia Avenue and 5 Notch would really make things a lot smoother. But I know the state often has control over its roads, and it's difficult to get things done. My concern is that our infrastructure infrastructure able to keep up with the growth. It seems no matter where you turn, there is construction of some type. But can our existing systems handle the uptick in population? Our schools are a concern. most, if not all, are busting at the seams, and it takes much longer to build a school than build a house. While I'm glad to see Hammond Hills expanding, what about the existing middle schools? I know when my son Ian was there several years ago, Paul Knox was packed. I hope that these things are being addressed and a sense of urgency is placed on them. In closing, I ask that you, the leaders of North Augusta, put the residents who elected you and trusted you first and will look out for us. I'd also like to remind you, and I often remind myself, that the decisions that you make for our city today are not just for today, but will impact the community in the community in which we live for years to come. I sincerely appreciate your time and this opportunity to speak before you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ross. Appreciate it. Okay. Miss Diane LaRue. State your name and address for the record, please.
Diane LaRue, 72 Crystal Lake Drive, North Augusta. Thank you again for allowing me to speak at the Power Hour. I was very excited after I expressed my concerns about the messiness of that area between Crown Plaza and the businesses on the other side of that median, to see on my walk trash cans put in place. I thank you very much for taking that action and listening to the citizens to take some action. While my husband will probably verify that it's not as spick and span as it would be if I were the caretaker. It looks great and looks so much better, and I appreciate it. The other issue I brought up last time was a concern about parking, and I don't know where you stand on that. So I guess I have a suggestion again tonight. A suggestion that there be some sort of protocol in place so that we know whether concerns brought during the Power Hour are going to be addressed at council meetings or in council discussions or with just an email or some way to let us know that the ball's still in the air. So.
Well, thank you, and you're absolutely right. So remember I said this was a work in progress. We are just finalized, so a couple things. Concerning the concern you had with the parking, we are ticketing now, okay? And we are making a concentrated effort to do that. We have not started, I'll say we have not enforced towing at this point, okay? Our engineer, Tom Zeeser, is working on a longer term solution. We're looking at bollards as being able to be able to block, okay? So we're working on that. The next piece, and I'm very appreciative of you sending this email because I'll say it anyway, is, and this is good information we'll send out, we have put a new operating procedure in place. So here's a couple things. All participants will get a call or email within the week of the initial response of the public power hour. And all future tracking can be done. Our amazing assistant city administrator has put together a mayor website, and it's going to be www.northaugusta.net/mayor, and it will go live, I think, in the morning. And on that is going to be it's going to have the public power hour, will have every person. It will have a tracking of what the status is. So you be able to pull that, any citizen can do it. It's also going to have our Meet the Mayor meetings. It's going to have that information of that every month. And also every video that we're doing, every vlog, that will be on there as well. So now, any citizen, all they've got to do is go to our website or bypass it by just putting northaugusta.net/mayor, and you'll be able to track it. So we're moving forward. How's that?
Excellent.
Okay.
If I could do a cartwheel, I would.
You don't have to do that, but thank you. Okay,
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Diane. I appreciate it. And I believe we have a gentleman that came in. Let me just interrupt. I know we've had one person come in and we've added, JD's added him to the list. If there's anyone else who is interested in speaking at the public power hour, just ask that you come down and JD will put your name on the list. So anyway, sir, you want to come on? Stephen, yep. The man from Illinois.
No.
I know, 3 years ago you were.
appreciate being able to be in front of these government officials. I live in the Knollwood area, of course, and it is extremely concerning how this, I hate to say it like it's a challenge, but the city is allowing certain perimeters to be exercised in developing the land. One thing that comes to mind, of course, is a 16-foot wide lot. That's sort of, I don't know about you guys, but that's sort of alarming to me for many reasons. As I looked at that one criteria, I thought I would go to the penal system. And when they design a prison, initially they address 1/4 of an acre per inmate. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to go to prison. And I don't want North Augusta to turn into something similar to a prison. And yet, that's what it seems like is the accepted procedure to approve. It would be very, very troubling to me if I was in your place to look back 20 years from now and see that crime has gone up, see that the city has deteriorated into some form of disrepair, and then be labeled part of that demise. It is very, very hopeful for me that you, as well as other factions of our government here in North Augusta, would work together in concert to assure the greatness of what has already been achieved in North Augusta continues. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Steve, do we have anybody else?
Yes, Larry Hammett.
Okay, Ms. Hammond, if you're coming down to state your name and address for the record.
My name is Larry Hammett. I live on 109 Cascade Drive. So I'm here to talk about Knollwood yet again. I have the same concerns that you've already heard from Scott, Ross, and the gentleman here. I live on Cascade, and we were surprised by this development, which I know this was the Mackey land. It's their right to build. But it seems to me like we're putting too many houses in a small postage stamp area. And it's these condo 4 houses in a row. Feels like that little development that got put together on 5 Notch Road around the backside. I forgot the name of it, but it's just too many houses in one tight spot, and that's going to be running the kids and everything else that we just want. So I just think it's just too many in that one small spot. And also we got the wetlands and all that that's involved, because at the end of Cascade, on the drawings, it was connecting to the other cascade across the other side of Pisgah. Why was that never connected? I assume that there's some wetland problems that didn't allow that to happen. And all that is right behind my house through the wetlands. A lot of natural area, but there's just too much going in that one spot. I don't mind a lesser number of houses, but 190, I just don't see it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Larry. I'm going to respond, and a couple things I will say, because I can't say a lot, but just a couple things I will jump around on. As far as just the city does not have anything in code concerning the 16-foot lot. That was part of why the developer had to go to the BZA. And just to kind of let you know in that this part, the BZA is a separate legal entity for the city, not council, not the planning commission. So when something is not in our code, then the developer or any applicant can ask for a variance through the BZA. So that's and what that decision is the decision. So I just wanted to clarify that part for you. I think all three of y'all bring up a fantastic point. Yes, we all as council have a challenge about the future of North Augusta. Okay, we are growing. Okay, and the reality is this: whether we want it to grow or not, it is growing, and a lot has to do with cyber and what's happening at Fort Gordon and that development. So the key is, how do we manage it? Okay, and I will tell you, I don't think any one person is going to have that answer, and that's part of. And Ross, when I spoke to I'm pretty sure that's your wife up there, you know, during the campaign, you know, one of the things that I want to get back to us doing as a council is begin to have times where as a council we're talking about long-term decisions. Quite frankly, I have felt that in the last few years we haven't focused on anything more than right now, and I think we've reacted. That's me personally. So as mayor and this council, our mindset is we need to get back to having conversations about what do things look like down the road. Okay, I don't have the answer for you, but what I'm telling you is we are committed to doing that. So that is one positive step, I believe. One of the things we are doing that talks about you mentioned about basically it's called clear cutting. We are in the process of rewriting our development code, okay? And that development code is an opportunity for us to, you know, fix some things. And I can't tell you we're going to fix it because that's not actually in the code, but that was a decision the city made. So again, that's one of those long-term discussions and saying, hey, what do we want to do? And the reality, we haven't addressed that in years, okay? And I'll tell you, if you talk to the Planning Commission, that probably was, back in the day, that might have been the first little crack in the relationship, quite frankly, between the city and the Planning Commission trying to figure out what do we do with clear cutting, okay? So that probably is a conversation we need to begin to have again, okay? So I'm hearing what all of y'all are saying, and we are committed to talking about that and looking at it. One of the things that you brought up, which is a great thing, and this is exactly what the Public Power Hour is about, is you mentioned about a left turn light at the intersection of George Avenue and Five Notch, okay? That is something I don't know I don't think I haven't been around where we've addressed that in the 2 months I've been on council. So that might have been something, you know, council has addressed. Yes, sir. Yeah. Right, but we can have communication with the state. So what I'm saying is, I haven't had any conversation on that. So this part of this is to get us informed, so we can go back and ask questions. Is this something we can address? If not, is there somebody from the state we can talk to? Because I can tell you, we're talking to DOT about a lot of things. Okay, so whether we control a road or own the road doesn't mean that we can't communicate with the people who do. Okay. So, and that's why we have a good relationship with Representative Bill Hickson, who's fighting for us. He has great contacts. So anyway, that is something I'll just tell you, that's a takeaway for me, that we can go back, and I need to understand that because I don't. The other issue you talked about that we aren't, but Aiken County, as you know, is an Aiken County School District understands. That's why they're building a new middle school and elementary school, Highland Springs. That's going to be on the Blanchard track out there on I-520, the east side. Okay, so you're right. There's a huge overflow in all our schools. Okay, so anyway, there are a number of things I think where things are going that we can't comment about more than that. But what you need to understand is we are listening. I think you bring very valid points on the infrastructure, the challenges we have as a city, as council, of where we need to go. And I think we're aware of that. And I'm hoping that us getting back into better longer-term planning discussions and looking at what that looks like as a city will help us with that. So I really appreciate y'all being here. This is exactly what this is about, give you an opportunity to talk to us and let us listen. So I don't know if any of these folks have anything they want to say.
I was going to say that I don't have any of the planning people here, but I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that Five Notch is on one of the lists, either the arts or the county list for widening. Now, I think that's still 3 years out, but it is on that list, and I know, unfortunately, the way government works in facilities and all that, and I've learned this since I've been on council, things work a little slower than we want them to. So there's a lot of planning that happens, and then budgeting that happens, so it's a long process. So unfortunately, a lot of times our road and infrastructure can't be ahead of development because we have to wait for the need to get there. So once the need gets there, then we can make some other adjustments. Now, ideally, when we go through planning and development, we hope that developers and as we design streets and engineers, they put some of that in there. But not always is it always in there for the long-term projection. And unfortunately, since I'm in construction, so I kind of see this happen all the time, that once the need gets there, then they say, oh, we got to fix the road. And I hate that. Don't like it as a citizen or council member. But unfortunately, that's kind of where we are. I hate it. But.
Mr. Mayor, a few years ago, we did discuss the traffic light, a turning lane for George Avenue and Five Notch. DOT came in and spent maybe 2 days here reviewing the traffic, watching the traffic flow, different hours of the day, and their basic determination was there was no major issue right now that would justify a turning lane on George Avenue. Well, we decided not to accept that, and we asked for more information, and that was sent, I believe, to the city engineer, and we'll have to find out from him where it is now. But also in that discussion was removing the hump on George Avenue as you come across Five Notch, continuing across, doing something with that hump as well as the drainage in those areas. So we have looked at that, and they did respond to us, but it wasn't what we wanted, so we went back to them trying to get some different information. Thank you.
And I would say, thank you very much. It's good. I would say another thing you brought up is you talked about speed control devices. I would tell you in a 1 day period or 1 weekend period during the campaign, I can tell you 4 neighborhoods that expressed that issue. And I will tell you that I think looking at what choices and options neighborhoods have with controlling speed bumps and exactly how to do it. There are some communities, actually Augusta has a wonderful program, Greenville's another one. So I hadn't even told council this, but we are looking at putting that on a study session down the road because that is an area that we're getting a lot of questions about. And then, again, that goes back to that long-term planning. So we hear you, and we need to begin to think about that and talk about it. So fantastic. Thank you all for being here. This is exactly what this is about. I wish I could give you answers to a lot of things you're asking, but we will take back what we can and get back in response to what we can respond to you about. And we appreciate, again, you being here. And spread the word. This is what this format's all about. So, thank you. Good evening. I call the July 19th, 2021 North Augusta City Council meeting to order. We will now have invocation pledge of allegiance. You are welcome to join me in prayer. Dear God, I lift up this council to you, Lord, so we will have discernment in our decisions, open hearts and ears to what we hear from each other and citizens, and a resolve as we do the work of the city. Amen. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll take a roll call going from my left.
David McGee.
Britton Williams.
Bob Brooks.
Jennifer McCauley.
Okay. Item 4, approval of minutes. Are there any corrections, deletions, or additions to the regular city council meeting minutes of June the 21st, 2021, the study session minutes of June the 28th, 2021, and the study session minutes of July the 12th, 2021? If not, they stand as distributed. All right, I am so excited about this. It will be the first opportunity that this new council has had to recognize the employees of the quarter, and for April, May, and June. And just how I'm going to do this, I'm going to have each individual come forward and meet me in the front. I'm going to brag a little bit about them, and then after they're both up here, I'm going to share a story about both of them, and then we will give them their plaque and award and any pictures. So as I walk around, Bill, folks, if you'll meet me down here at the front, please, sir. All right, come up here, man. All right. Bill is a heavy equipment operator. He started with the city on May the 23rd, 2012 as part-time grounds worker for the property maintenance department. And in 2013, promoted to full-time grounds worker. He transferred to vehicle operator for stormwater management in 2016 and promoted to heavy equipment operator in February of 2020. Bill has spent most of his career in public service working with the city for the past 9 years, as well as working in Florida as a building inspector for many years prior to coming here. All right, I'm standing right here. I'm going to ask Lamar Harvey to come on down here, sir. He moved down here faster than you, Bill. Come on over here, Ms. Harvey. Mr. Lamar Harvey, he is a foreman with the Stormwater Management Division of the Engineering and Public Works Department. He started with the city on August the 4th, 1999 as a heavy equipment operator for streets and drains. He was promoted to traffic signal technician in 2010. In January 2020, he transferred to vehicle operator and promoted to stormwater management foreman in July 2020. He recently retired from the National Guard and has had several tours of duty in Iraq. He has spent his entire career in public service, both with the military as a retiree now and also 22 years with the city. Now, the reason I wanted both these men up here is their supervisor described like this. Both these men, when they report to work each day, they work with a can-do attitude, and I love it, a can-do attitude, and are ready to tackle whatever jobs they are assigned. They're out in the streets mapping or solving blockage or other problems to keep water flowing correctly without taking pollutants into our streams and river. This can-do attitude was shown recently when on June the 1st, they noticed a citizen on the ground along the greenway near the amphitheater. They immediately went to the aid of the citizen who had fallen and had injuries. The citizen was a long way from home, and her injuries would have prevented her from making it home on her own. The citizen was beyond grateful for their kindness and called it, I don't know if you know, she called y'all a God-given charitable spirit. We are appreciative of our employees working each day in all types of conditions, but it's really nice to see they are paying attention to the surrounding areas and citizens within their eyesight. Both of these men are tremendous assets to the departments and to the city. So on behalf of the city, thank you both for your service and well-earned recognition as our employees of the second quarter of 2021, and we both have a plaque and a gift for each of you. And okay. Oh. This is Employee of the Quarter award to Bill Folks, April, May, and June 2021. And then Employee of the Quarter award to Lamar Harvey, April, May, June 2021. Thank you. I think we have something else for him later. That'd be, yeah, okay. There you go. All right, so do we get a picture for everything they need? And you have family, anybody have family they want to come down? Get a picture with you? Yeah, okay. All right, well, let's just do one each. Let me go be in.
Thank you, Jeff.
That's the fun perk of the job. Neat. Okay, item 6, proclamation, Parks and Recreation Month, July 2021. Whereas parks and recreation programs are an integral part of communities throughout this country, including North Augusta, South Carolina, and whereas our parks and recreation are vitally important to establishing and maintaining the quality of life in our communities, ensuring the health of all citizens, and contributing to the economic and environmental well-being of a community and region. And whereas parks and recreation programs build healthy, active communities that aid in the prevention of chronic disease, provide therapeutic recreation services for those who are mentally or physically disabled, and also improve the mental and emotional health of all citizens. And whereas parks and recreation programs increase a community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. And whereas parks and natural recreation areas improve water quality, protect groundwater, prevent flooding, improve the quality of the air we breathe, provide vegetative buffers to development, and produce habitat for wildlife. And whereas our parks and natural recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature and recreate outdoors. And whereas the City of North Augusta recognizes the benefits derived from parks and recreation resources. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Augusta, South Carolina, that July 2021 is recognized as Park and Recreation Month in the City of North Augusta. In witness whereof, I have herein set my hand and seal, caused the seal of the City of North Augusta, South Carolina, to be affixed this 19th day of July 2021. We have an amazing Parks and Recreation Department. Let's give them a round of applause for that. Okay, I want to change this up a little bit. Instead of saving this toward the end under council comments, I just wanted to make a neat announcement that ties in. Since this is Parks and Recreation Month, we thought it would be timely to announce a contest that the citizens of North Augusta will determine the outcome. This is another opportunity for citizens to voice what they want, another way to communicate between citizens and city. And this was a great idea by this council, and I thank them for that, and we want to share it with you. It's always been odd that we live on a river but have never had events on the actual river. So we want you to help us determine what type of event we should have on the river in 2022. We will post a form on social media for you to list your contact information, your idea for what event we can have on the river, and any information that will help us in gathering information about it. We will take your recommendations till the end of August. So while you're traveling the rest of this summer and you visit a community that is doing something neat on the water, let us know. We will form a citizen committee to work with staff to filter the total number of ideas down to a manageable number, like 3 to 5, depends. We'll put a cost estimate on the events and put it in the budget for 2022 to be done in the spring or summer of next year. Once we get the final 3 to 5 ideas, we'll then put it out to all citizens for a vote in order to see which one will be chosen. This is a chance for you to have a voice, a vote, and an ownership in the budget we are preparing for 2022 for the city's first water event to promote tourism and quality of life. So we're excited about this opportunity, and we will be putting information out on our website, I believe, tomorrow morning. And, of course, we'll also have paper applications at different locations for folks to fill out. So this is a chance. If you want something on the river, let us know what it is, and we're going to make it happen. Okay. Item 7, under new business. Resolution number 2021-30, authorizing the receipt of the Coronavirus Local Fiscal Recovery Fund allocation from the state of South Carolina as appropriated by the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
So move.
Second.
Commissioner Brooks, second Commissioner Mr. McGee. Only 4 of you here. I should be able to figure it out. Any information you want to share about this, Mr. Clifford?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So for the council members and for our citizens watching at home and here in the audience today, what this is an accounting measure to establish a separate line of accounting, or a bank account, if you will, for us to be able to be in receipt of the ARPA funding from the federal government through the state of South Carolina. This will allow us to have full transparency of the receipt of those funds and the subsequent actions of those funds, which will be approved by council. So ultimately, at some point in time, the staff will come back to council with some recommendations on the spend plan for that funding from ARPA, and this will allow the citizens to be able to see how those funds are being spent, so they won't just disappear into a fund and be mixed in with others. So this will have a clear accounting line of ARPA money, which we have not been in receipt of yet. And I would tell you that I would not anticipate we'll receive these funds until in the fall, or potentially even into early next year. But I view this as a necessary first step, and this was also recommended by International City County Managers Association and also the Municipal Association of South Carolina. So I think this is in keeping with best practices both regionally and nationally, and the staff recommends that you would enact this resolution.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion from citizens? Any citizen comments, I should say? Okay, any discussion from council? Hearing none, I'll take a vote. All in favor, raise your hand. That is unanimous. Thank you. Okay, item 8, finance, resolution number 2021-31, a resolution approving a reprioritized project and funding list for capital sales tax 4. Do you have a motion to approve this resolution?
Motion.
Motion, Ms. McCauley. Second,
So move.
Mr. McGee. Any information you want to share, Mr. Clifford?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If the council will recall, as well as their citizens, this was a topic in a study session where we had a discussion about the Greenway connector that would come up from Hammond's Ferry along Bluff Avenue and eventually connect into the downtown area. And so in our discussion with council, I received what I believe was guidance from the council to reprioritize our capital projects sales tax 4 list to move that connector project, which is actually listed as a road reconstruction project, because the vast majority of the work involved is a road recreation on Bluff Avenue. And so by doing that, we are requesting the ability to move the road reconstruction program, which is listed as priority number 11 under the current capital project sales tax, and moves that up to number 2 behind the public safety headquarters. So this was, I believe, a request that was made by the council for the staff to reprioritize, and that's the action that's before you today. Again, we'll still have to move forward on the public safety headquarters to start obligation of funds in that project, and then that would allow us to move hopefully quickly into number 2, which would be the road reconstruction program for the Bluff Avenue connector. Subject to any of your questions, sir.
Any citizen comments? Any council discussion? Hearing none, I will take a vote. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Okay. Item 9, boards and commissions. As our responsibility of the SRP Park Stadium, one of the items in the stadium license agreement is to establish a board of advisors to vote on the improvements to the facility and approve capital expenditures funded by the Stadium Improvement Fund, which the city must begin contributing in 2022 as part of that agreement. This agreement states the mayor will appoint 3 representatives and the Green Jackets Baseball LLC will appoint 2 representatives. I'm appointing Jim Clifford, our city administrator. I'm appointing Tom Zeeser, Director of Engineering and Public Works, as Director of Engineering. His expertise and experience with infrastructure projects will be an asset on this board. I've also appointed David McGee, City Council, was chosen by Mayor Pettit to be a liaison between the contractor and the city in building the stadium and has as much knowledge about the stadium and with his construction background is the best person to be on the board. The Green Jackets are appointing Missy Martin, one of the owners of the team, and Tom Denlinger, who is the general manager of the team. So this is strictly receipt of information by council. There's no vote. I'm just informing y'all as well as the citizens of those appointments. Is that correct?
That's correct, Mr. Mayor.
Great. Okay, we're skipping right along here. Item number 10. Ordinance number 21-08, granting easements across city property located on Georgia and Carolina Avenues to adjoining property owners who rely upon such easements to provide access to their properties. And this ordinance is first reading. Do I have a motion to approve this ordinance on first reading?
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Brooks,
I'll second.
second by Mr. McGee. Would you like to share any information about this, Mr. Clifford?
I will defer to our city attorney's expertise on this matter, but what I would say is in a normal course of an item, when we talk about an easement, there are sometimes issues with trying to get property owners to want to add an easement to that location for a variety of reasons. In this particular case, what we're doing is rectifying an administrative problem we've had for a number of years that came to light recently based on one of the property owners. And so if you can forward to the next slide, I believe, there you go, you got a pink highlight there. And so Calhoun Park back in the day was more of a rectangle, and when you have the roads that were added there, there was never an addition to allow access to the homeowners both Carolina and Georgia Avenue. So that access is already there. It's something that the homeowners already enjoy. They have access to those roads, and this is a formal process to basically rectify something the city should have done years ago, and I think we're now in a position to be able to do this. All we're doing is formalizing something that's already in place, which is citizen access to those roads. So this does not put any citizens out, if you will, as far as taking away their land or making it harder for them to do things on their own property. This is strictly allowing them to have access through city property to the road network that's in front of their residences. And for our city attorney, Kelly Zier, if I've mucked that up or if that's a better way for you to put that more eloquently than I have, I'm certainly open to your feedback.
No, you've pretty much covered it. And basically what we are doing is just correcting what could be a problem for them, that anytime they go to sell property, mortgage property, it's not uncommon to require the attorney handling it to confirm that there is legal access to the various streets, and actually at this point, until we approve this, that could not be done, and this takes care of that.
So we're doing the right thing.
Oh, yes.
Any comments from citizens? Excuse me. Okay, any council discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a vote. All in favor? That is unanimous. Under administrative reports, do we have anything from you or Ms. Moody?
Mr. Mayor, the only thing to report is that per the council's guidance and direction, I did provide a sketch plan or conducted a sketch plan review with the Planning Commission this past Thursday. I'll wait for the meeting minutes to be published before I can give you a formal report, but just wanted to let you know that action had been completed.
Okay, we're now final item, presentation, communication, recognition of visitors. We're at citizen comments. At this time, citizens may speak to mayor or city council regarding matters not listed on the agenda. Do we have anybody that would care to speak to council? Okay, so we're now at council comments. I've got just 3 things to mention, but before I finish, I'll ask anybody, if you've got anybody on council has anything they'd like to share for the good of the order. Okay, Mr. Brooks?
I guess Mr. Clifford can answer this. A few months ago, we were in discussion about Bergen Road and Martintown Road with the traffic signal there. And if I recall, that was to be installed in the month of July. I think it was 2021. Is there an update on what's going on with that traffic light?
I don't have an update for you, Councilman, but if you'd like, I'll provide one at our next either study session or council meeting. You know, sometimes we find out, just like our regular citizens do, about what SCDOT is doing on our roads. Specifically, we are tracking, obviously, the traffic light that went in at Martintown Road and Exit 1 from I-20. That was a positive development. I know that we've seen a lot of the infrastructure go in at Bergen and Martintown Road, but I'm uneducated today on the final completion date of that project, but I'll have that as a due out for our next meeting.
Thank you.
Okay. Didn't they turn that into a traffic circle? Yeah.
No, I mean, I believe it's going to be a light. Yeah, that was something different.
Oh, okay.
Councilman, I was tracking that from the Martintown Road study, that the discussion about a traffic circle involved further up at Gregory Lake Road. And I know there was a discussion about the roundabout coming in where the off-ramp was, but that was still pretty far out in the future. My understanding is they were still moving forward on a traffic signal, but we'll have a more definitive answer for the council at the next study session or council meeting.
Okay, just 3 things I'll mention. Just let people know the next Meet the Mayor meeting will be on Tuesday, August the 2nd at 6 p.m. That is going to be at SRP Credit Union on Exit 5. And that will be an ideal location for all the folks out there in the I-20 area, Bergen, all of those places. But, of course, it's open for all citizens. And we will get more information out on social media starting tomorrow on that. But I want to make that announcement. The Optimist Club wanted me to invite everyone, all citizens. Representative Bill Hickson will be speaking at the Optimist Club tomorrow night at 6:30 at the Community Center. There's no meal being provided. This is strictly an opportunity at the communities to hear Representative Bill Hickson, who is a strong advocate for North Augusta, and actually he may can give us an update on that light at Bergen Road. And the last thing, and I mentioned the Public Power Hour, Rachel Moody, our Assistant City Administrator, has done a wonderful job. She has put together a website, and that will be, and there's a link that we'll get out there, but you can also get it on our city website, and it's going to be strictly, it's going to list 3 things. It's going to list all the updates on the public power hour, so every citizen can track what was asked at the public power hour, who asked it, what was the concern or question, and they'll be able to track that on that site. When we have Meet the Mayor meetings, that information will also be on that site, and all the vlogs or videos that are being done, that will also be on the site. So that'll be northaugusta.net/mayor, so you can go straight there. So again, another way to try to communicate through social media to give access to everything we're doing. It's going to be out there for folks to be able to get. So I appreciate Ms. Moody on working on doing that. At that point, if there's nothing else, then we stand adjourned.